My friend's car won't stop texting me. Dear Autosmith Forum, my friend has recently become an owner of a 2018 Rustler SUV. He is the sort of guy to let something like this go, but I am not, especially because it is becoming quite annoying. One of the features on the car is an automatic text-to-voice, voice-to-text system. It allows the driver to hear incoming texts and respond with his voice in a hands-free, legal manner. My friend and I text a lot. Full disclosure here, he gives me a lot of rides to and from work, and we tend to carpool together. Anyway, he had recently bought the car at a police auction, and normally I found out that if we had bought it from the dealer new, we would be entitled to basically a walk around with a dealer to not only inspect the vehicle after 1 month of being driven, but also to explain any issues or features that he didn't quite understand. Since we did buy this at an auction, I realized that that simply isn't happening. So I'm reaching out to this forum to see if we can resolve this issue. The issue is that I keep getting texts from my friend even when he's not texting me, even when he's not in the car, even when the car is off. And it's something that he texts me a lot. It simply asks me, "You ready?" I already checked with the phone company and the cell provider, and they are not particularly helpful in this regard, so we think that this might be something wrong with the voice-to-text system that keeps basically sending a message to our phone, Bluetooth, and is somehow stuck and keeps repeating. Anyway, anything to help stop this would be very helpful from this forum. Thank you, forum. Dear forum, this is my second time reaching out. My friend is convinced that this vehicle is the bargain of his lifetime, even if the car's voice-to-text system is not only... But I'm convinced that this vehicle may be a lemon. We're having multiple issues with the vehicle now, starting first with the voice-to-text system. The voice itself is now becoming a very monotone, deep, droning voice inside the vehicle. I am still getting texted, "You ready?" 2 or 3 times a night, randomly. He is also getting the same text, and a third carpool buddy of ours, Ray, is also getting the text at random intervals. So far, the responses from this forum have not been particularly helpful. We are not texting. The vehicle is off. As best as we can tell, no one is playing a prank on anyone, and the cell phone companies seem to have no record of these texts being sent. With regards to the request of a couple people on this forum asking for the vehicle identification number, my friend doesn't want to participate in my efforts here, so he has not been able to give me the vehicle identification number, unfortunately. But thank you for your interest in that regard. Some of the other issues that we're having involve the GPS system. The other day, it attempted to direct us off of a bridge perpendicular to the direction of the road. Also, the automatic lane correction system seemingly attempted to do the same thing, and we nearly hit a guardrail. Furthermore, we were not aware that this particular year model had some automatic seat belts and possibly automatic doors, as both the doors and the seat belts at times feel sticky, seemingly can attempt to move by themselves. We're not sure if this is something that we keep switching on and off by accident or something, but any information about that would also be helpful. Between the three of us, frankly, we don't have a ton of money to go get this looked at right now, but I personally have some fairly strong mechanical skills and experience. Any advice or even a shot in the dark starting point from a member of this forum would be very helpful with resolving any of these issues with the car. Thank you again, forum. Dear forum, I had to take the first 2 posts down for a while I was under investigation. I need to tell you my story about this vehicle now, for your sake, for anyone out there. My friend's car started calling me. It spoke to me in the same draggy, dreary, monotone voice it began to use to speak to Jack, Ray, and I in the car when we got texts. It would call me from not only Jack's number, but then Ray's number when I blocked Jack's. Then I blocked Ray's number at night, and it started calling me from random numbers. I checked with the phone company again, and they have no record of these calls. Each call consists of, "You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready?" before hanging up. It was about 5 a.m. in the morning on a Tuesday, almost a couple months ago, that I got another call. I got this call despite the fact that I had my phone volume all the way down and my phone stuck on vibrate. Nevertheless, somehow my phone rang and I answered it. It was the voice again from the car asking me, "You ready? You ready? You ready?" I broke down and I shouted, "Yes!" and I hung up. I don't know how long afterwards it was, but probably not too long. I woke up again in a jolt because there was a honking outside of my apartment. And I looked out my window and I saw the rustler there, lights on, in the rain, at my curb. I thought I could see Jack inside, so I decided to come out and yell at him for playing the worst prank on me. I put on my coat and my hat, and I went outside into the rain. I could see Jack in the driver's seat and his girlfriend in the passenger seat. Jack's girlfriend was pounding frantically on the window with her fists, and she was trying to scream something to me that I couldn't hear over the radio on in the car. As I watched her pound and scream, I could see the seat belts on her side grasp her wrists and pull them down to her waist. Jack was also yelling and screaming in the driver's seat. He was trying to somehow pull his hands off the steering wheel, but it looked like his hands had somehow become stuck or fused to it. And he was screaming and yelling as loud and as terrified as I've ever seen him. Despite the condensation and the rain on the window, I could see his face clear enough to see that he was crying, tears streaming down his face with desperation, trying to get out, trying to warn me to stay away. At this point, I couldn't honestly tell if this was still a prank or if something more horrifying was happening, so I wandered around the side of the car all the way to the back, and that's when I saw another hand smash the hatchback window, leaving a foggy palm print. Then I saw the hand again, and it drew on the condensation. It just said, "Get away." With that warning, I took a step back as the hatch opened rapidly, and one of the seatbelts stretched out for me from the back, farther than I thought the seatbelt could ever reach, and it tried to latch onto me. I saw the person who was trying to warn me. It was Ray, and at that point, the other seatbelt had already grabbed him at the waist and pulled him to the back of the car, down on the rear seat. I jumped out of reach of the seatbelt, and I watched Ray scream and struggle in vain against the one that had grabbed him. Then the hatchback sealed itself up. I could still hear their screams, but the radio started to rise in volume and I couldn't hear them anymore. I staggered back to the curb in utter shock, and I was wondering what exactly in the hell was going on. Soon, before my eyes, with 4 sets of hands pounding against the various windows, the vehicle lifted off the road. 2 feet, 3 feet, tires pulled all the way down, totally weightless, and I saw it levitate like a hot air balloon, like an old sci-fi movie prop on a string pulled straight up into the rain clouds. I just stood there and watched as the headlights disappeared far and deep into the sky and into the clouds. I was the last one to see them, so I fell under immediate suspicion, especially because I didn't report it right away. I had convinced myself that this was some sort of dream, or a prank, or I had eaten something bad. But it became real when I became a person of interest in Jack's girlfriend, and Ray's disappearance. About a week and a half ago, the rustler was found in California, abandoned, with no sign or trace of any of them. But for the local PD, that was case closed, and I was let go. I told them, without telling them this story, that the vehicle simply needed to be destroyed, even if that would raise more suspicions, even if it might re-incriminate me. But they ignored me. I don't get any texts anymore. I have no idea where my friends went. I have no idea how that happened to them. Most of the town thinks that they just disappeared to disappear, and that I'm covering for them somehow. But that's not the case. And now you know better. If your car ever starts texting you, or your friends, get rid of it. And look out for an Autosmith Rustler, VIN number 0001. Oh my god, it found me!